if you want to come to Spain and start a farm, then this video is for you. So we quite often get emails from people at we at Sunny Simple Living get emails from people who want to start a farm, and it's anything from being really self-sufficient to having a really profitable farm. Now, the last email I got about it, that guy had pretty good questions, so I thought I'd just answer them in a video. Basically, this is about farming in Spain, and especially if you come from abroad and you come to Spain and your plans are to start a farm of some type. So one thing I wanted to say before we start, I am quite like I know it's a hard time for farmers anywhere in Europe. So there's rules and there's bureaucracy and there's limitations and there's frustrations. So if you're really frustrated by how things are in one country, it doesn't mean Spain has nothing on it. Like, Spain is not what some people think it is, like no rules or maybe just paying someone and it will all be about. Spain is a lot more about knowing the right people so you know what to do in what situation. And basically, Spain is complicated, but like there's not less rules, or it's not a lot easier, I guess, than in other countries. So the thing is, though, I am not an actual farmer. Yes, we live on what I call a farm because we have olive trees, we make olive oil and olives for eating, and we have almonds that we sell, and we have all of those. We have alpacas, we have chickens. I call it a tiny farm, but it's not actually a profitable farm. It's not our main it's not our main income, not our main activity. However, so most of the things that I'm going to tell you here, some of them are from actual experience and from researching it. Others are from hearing it from people who are doing it. So first of all, what I wanted to say is, if you want, especially as a young person, if you want to start a farm in Spain, there is technically lots of support for it. So you see adverts for courses and for extra support and subventions and things like that all of the time. So yes, definitely at least certain areas in Spain are doing their best to attract new farmers, because that's the thing, the existing farmers, at least around here, they are all really getting older and they don't want to sell all of their farmland to foreigners who are going to live off the grid. Some of them want to just stay a farm. So there is lots of support. There's of course pitfalls by that, but let's get into that in a bit. The second thing about that is, if you want a profitable farm, or even a non-profitable farm, if you want to start a business in Spain, that's one thing you'd have to know about it. It's not cheap in any case. If you're a young farmer, you can probably get cheaper autonomo, it's called. So if you have a business in Spain, you pay a monthly amount to the authorities that will get you social security. So it will get you unemployment payments in theory, it would get you health insurance, it would get you a pension and all of those things. So yes, you pay monthly, you get something for it. However, like, I have this one friend who just grows vegetables, and for him, it costs him a lot of money to pay his monthly autonomo, and those vegetables are not making him a lot of money. So sometimes it's not always in relationship to the amount that you make. So that's something, before you start a business in Spain, you have to take that into account. So that's also the reason why black economy in Spain is thriving, or bartering. So many people here, they survive on, or not survive, but they do a lot of bartering. There's alternative money, like each area probably has its own alternative money almost. There's bigger consortiums, is that word? Well, there's bigger associations that have alternative money, like this one for the whole of Catalonia, I think. But so that's why not everyone chooses to start an official business when they have a farm of some sort, or any kind of other business technically. So another question that I got from my email is, hey, if I want to start a profitable farm, would it be hard to find people to work with me, to work at that farm? So first answer is no, of course not. There's so much unemployment in Spain. So many people are looking for work. There's a lot of people who would love to work outside, but at a certain point, there's no work in the middle of nowhere. So they would be forced to move towards the city. But if given a choice, they would love to work outside. That being said, though, there is a different mentality here. And I know people are like, when I say that there is a different mentality, oh, yeah, yeah, it's all about mañana and people not showing up. Now, that is not the mentality I know. If you get to know the mentality, it's not just about saying mañana and not doing things. It's not about not showing up when you have an agreement with someone. It's an agreement, but it's all about, yeah, knowing the right people. Like some people are flaky anywhere. And yeah, and there's also, yeah, the thing where not everyone will love to tell you no, especially if I've, yeah, that's what I found. Maybe it's really personal, but I find that sometimes if you ask people something in a really Western and pushy way, they will think, oh yeah, that person needs to hear yes to that, even though I don't think I can do that. But yeah, 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 let's talk about it. And yeah, you might understand, oh yeah, he wants to talk about it, well, let's do this. But that kind of might mean no, that's not a good idea. Anyway, moving on to the next one. So yeah, finding people to work for you, yes, absolutely, more than enough people really willing to work. You have to change your mentality, you have to speak the language. Like, I've had one person who wanted to hire personnel, but only people who spoke really well English and basically had an English mentality in the end. They ended up hiring a lot of British people. So, yeah. Um, okay, moving on is what I said. Next question that I had in that email was about buying a property to start a farm on. Like, what's the price for a property like that? And this is my budget, and could I afford to buy something for that price? So I'm not going into budgets right now. There's all kinds of price ranges, etc. However, one thing that I would want to mention, two things. The first thing is, if you're buying a property with nothing on, it's going to take you a long time. It probably means that they have no licenses to have a farm on there, that there's like, you will probably need to wait for a long time, or you need to jump through a lot of hoops and go to the right authorities, etc., to get the destination of your property changed and to get the license to do everything, etc. So if you're thinking of starting an actual farm and doing that, where, yeah, buy something where there is already a farm, ideally where they already have licenses. That's that I believe is the most, if you want to get things working within a reasonable time, I think that's a reasonable thing to do. The second thing as well is, if you have a certain budget, don't just spend that on buying your property. Like, buying the property, it's going to be a fraction of your budget. Buying your property, on top of that, you will have things like taxes on buying your property. You will need to hire people to jump through the hoops, because especially as a foreigner, you don't know the customs, don't know where to go, and the laws change all the time. They're ridiculous here. So you will really want to hire, especially at first, if you're not speaking Spanish at a high level yet, you will want to hire someone to help you out with that. You might have to fix things about that farm, you might have to build new things, etc. So don't just spend all of your money on your property and then be left with not being able to move forward, because that's just a pity. So yeah, that's about buying a property to put a farm on. The next one is, if you want to farm with animals, that's completely new level there. So there are several licenses to have animals on your farm. The license we have is called an Exploitation domestica, and that's basically it's made for people with not many animals. Basically, it's for when you want some animals to be kind of self-sufficient. It's the equivalent of homesteading or of small holding in the UK. So you can have a couple of animals. There's an actual maximum to it. I believe, I don't know by heart, so don't pin me down on it, but I believe it's the equivalent of having two cows, and they will, each region will have their own calculation for it. Like, I know, for instance, two cows in Cantabria, that counts for 8 alpacas or 10 alpacas or something. But over here, two cows, that's, I don't know, 4 or 6 alpacas or something. It's completely different. But yeah, so you need to inquire about how many animals you can actually keep. So we have the two cows are our alpacas plus our chickens, because those are the animals you technically need a license for. Now, about that exploitation domestica, lots of people are like, hey, why would I need a license just to have a couple of animals? It's ridiculous. And yeah, ridiculous is a word I often hear. Now, the thing is, for them, it's more about registering your animals. Lots of people, like Spain is a big country. If everyone anywhere has animals, it's just convenient to have them all registered. So basically, the process we went through to get that license, it was nothing. I applied for it myself. I wrote the brief myself. And if you know my Spanish, you'll know, like, it was, yeah, a bit laughable. They thought it was cute. So, and it was good enough. So basically the process is, it's not a big thing or anything, but you have to do it. You have to register. Basically what they want is make sure that your animals are kept in good circumstances. So you might get, after you register, you might get a check from the local vet to see if your animals have access to water or something like that. What it does mainly though, it puts you on the map. Like, for instance, when there's a fire or when something happens, like we had big storms last week, and someone checked in on us, like, hey, do you still have your animals? Is everything okay with everything? And that sort of thing. One other reason to put you on the map is hunters as well. Like, there's a lot of hunting in the, well, a lot, there's hunting in Spain. And what it does is, these hunters, now that they know that we're here, they're not technically supposed to come on our property. And in any case, they will keep us up to date. So they will know, okay, there's animals on that property. So when we go hunting in that area, we need to warn those people so they can keep the animals inside. And hey, it's making the best out of the situation, right? So I'm now talking about the exploitation domestica and about getting the license for a low amount of animals. If you want to get a license for like an actual farm with animals, like a profitable farm, lots of animals, it's the next level up. I believe that is called an exploitation ganadera, but don't pin me down on it. It's been years since I applied for hours and I haven't looked into it since then. But basically what it means is there's a lot more rules, like you have to show them what you would do with the feces, and you would have to have an actual plan for things and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what it is. So ideally, if you want to start a farm in Spain, you could buy something that already has that license. So conclusion, two pieces of advice I can give you. If you want to start a profitable farm, talk with the right people before you do it. So talk with people who are doing it or have done it. Check out the area, and do they actually want more farms to come there? Some do, others aren't too keen on it. Check with your local ayuntamiento, so with the local town hall. If you're looking at a property in a certain ayuntamiento, is a certain town or outside of town, but it's still on the within the limits of that town, check with the people, check with the mayor or with the local technical, and ask them, like, hey, is this even something you'd want? Because if those people are like, hey, you shouldn't be doing it on our property, then you might have a harder time than where people are like, oh yes, we would love for someone to take over that farm. If your thing is, though, if you don't want to start an actual big farm, if you just want to be more self-sufficient, I would say just go ahead and do it. There's some hoops to jump through, and I would suggest you do it because it makes things easier on the long run. We know people who aren't doing it, who don't feel like doing it. That's probably fine too, and like everyone in the village knows they're doing it, etc. So it's probably, yeah. It happens, but we like that we have the necessary license for that. They haven't cost us much, and it was, yeah, basically where, yeah, it's just convenient to have all the things, and it's pretty feasible as well. So if you have any questions about all of this, like if you have questions about starting an actual profitable farm, I am probably not a person, but I could hook you up with some people, or just talk to us in the group in Living Off the Grid in Spain. There's certainly some people over there who know their stuff. If you want to talk to me about being more self-sufficient than having almonds and olive trees and 2 alpacas in your yard or something like that, well, probably you prefer sheep or goats. But yeah, just talk to me, let me know. Any questions you have, I'm happy to answer, brainstorm, or I would just love to know what you're planning to do. So for now, that's it, and I hope you're having a really good day, and I will speak to you soon again.